In February 2022, the Kremlin saw its world change. Russia's leadership framed the invasion of Ukraine as a defensive move, protecting national security and Russian-speaking populations. The Kremlin claims it's resisting Western encroachment and defending traditional values against what it sees as a decadent, unipolar West. Moscow presents itself as a civilizational power, fighting for a multipolar world where great powers have their own spheres of influence. The West's swift condemnation and sanctions only reinforced Russia's belief in a long-standing anti-Russian agenda. Russian officials argue the West seeks to weaken and contain Russia, and that the Ukraine conflict is just the latest front in a broader struggle. The unity of the Western response is seen as a campaign to punish Russia for challenging the global order. Domestically, this narrative fuels a sense of righteous defiance, Russia as a nation drawing a line in the sand. The Kremlin insists it's fighting for survival, sovereignty, and a distinct identity. Ukraine is just the most visible front in a wider confrontation. Russia is determined to emerge stronger, aiming to reshape the international system. NATO's eastward expansion is central to Russia's sense of threat. Moscow views each new NATO member as strategic encirclement, especially Ukraine's potential membership. The Kremlin claims the West broke promises not to expand NATO, fueling deep mistrust. Military buildups and support for Ukraine are seen as provocations, not responses to Russian aggression. On the economic front, Western sanctions are viewed as total economic warfare, meant to cripple Russia and force regime change. Russia frames these measures as attacks on every citizen, not just the government. In response, Moscow pursues Fortress Russia, import substitution, domestic production, and shifting trade away from the West. The state tightens control over key sectors, aiming to prove it can thrive outside the Western system. For Russia, this economic struggle is as vital as the military one, a test of national resilience. Isolated from the West, Russia has rapidly pivoted eastward. Its partnership with China is now central, an economic and strategic bond to counterbalance U.S. dominance. China offers Russia markets, technology, and diplomatic support, though not a formal alliance. India, maintaining strategic autonomy, continues buying Russian oil and resists Western pressure, providing Moscow with crucial revenue. Russia values India as a historic partner and a key player in the global south. Beyond these giants, Russia courts countries in Africa, Latin America, and the Middle East, offering cooperation without Western-style conditions. Moscow taps into anti-colonial sentiment, positioning itself as a champion of a fairer, multipolar world. Russia pushes multilateral forums like BRICS and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization as alternatives to Western-led institutions. By expanding these groups, Moscow hopes to build new centers of power and reduce U.S. influence. The goal, a world where Russia's interests are respected and its voice matters. Russia's image varies sharply by audience, a fact the Kremlin exploits. At home, state media fuels patriotism and the idea of a besieged fortress, with high public support for the government. In the West, Russia is seen as an aggressor and a threat to global stability, justifying sanctions and support for Ukraine. The global South is divided. Some sympathize with Russia's critique of Western dominance, others focus on the war's economic fallout. Many countries refuse to take sides, wary of a new Cold War. Looking ahead, Russia envisions itself as a major independent power in a multipolar world. The Kremlin's goal, a new global security order, with Russia as a key guarantor of Eurasian stability. It seeks a recognized sphere of influence and leadership among non-Western nations. Whether this vision becomes reality remains uncertain, but for now, Russia is determined to shape the future on its own terms.